Hari Om. We are studying Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, Sloka 68 to 70.
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे साङ्ख्ययोगो नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः।
After explaining the effects of senses and sense objects on the self controlled and unsteady persons to Arjuna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, now reaffirming his statement in Slokas 68 and 69.
Sloka 68. तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
Summary Sloka 68. O mighty armed, the knowledge of spiritual seeker is steady, in whom senses are completely restrained from the sense objects.
Sloka 69. या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः.
Summary Sloka 69. That is, night to all beings is the time for awakening of the self controlled man. Where all beings are awake is the night for the sage. Bhagavan Sri Krishna in Sloka 68 pointed out to Arjuna, who was the great archer, Mahabahu, about the nature of inner personalities of an ordinary seeker and an enlightened person. Bhagavan is reiterating that a man of steady wisdom, that is Sthita Prajna, who mastered over his senses and his intellect has firmly established in the self, is not disturbed by the external sense objects. However, an ignorant person wanders in the senses and its sense objects and were not under his control will never be in peace and happy. Sri Krishna Bhagavan further clarifies in Sloka 69. In this sloka, the viewpoint of an ignorant and the wise person is compared. The ignorant person dreams of varieties of sense pleasures, feeling happy or distressed in his sleeping conditions. The night of all beings can also be considered as ignorance of the nature of the self, whereas the wise person is indifferent to sense pleasures and he goes on with himself as self-realized person and he will do all activities undisturbed by material reactions. An ignorant man during the day constantly be bombarded with the things and beings of the world and does not know the real nature of the world, that is, it is unreal. But the wise man knows that world is unreal and is always in the state of contemplation and meditation. Swami Chinmayananda in his commentary says, life in self control alone is the life worth living. If we demand from it, that is from life, anything more, it leads to tears, sobs, sighs, groans, and sorrows. Swami Nikhilananda, in his discourse on Sloka 69, defines night as darkness, lack of discrimination, ignorance. He further says an ignorant person is ignorant of the spiritual life, not knowing who he is, the self. He further comments that such a person knows about everything about body, mind, and intellect, but does not know who he is. An ignorant person is ignorant of the self. He is clueless, that is, the darkness, night. A self realized person rooted in his wisdom is always awake when an ignorant is sleeping. He understands that the world is like a dream and is false. He understands that Brahman is the truth and the world is false and I am the Brahman.
Sloka 70. अपूर्वमाणामचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वात् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी.
Summary Sloka 70. He attains peace despite incessant flow of desires enter into him, as the water enters the ocean, which, filled from all sides, remain unmoved. But the desirer of the desires will not get the peace and happiness. Sri Krishna Bhagawan in Sloka 70 is teaching Arjuna that a wise devotee alone, who is a man of steady wisdom, can attain liberation or moksha. Lord Krishna informs that a man of perfection alone can truly discover peace and happiness within himself. He further adds that such a person who casts off all his desires from his mind is said to be one of steady knowledge. He further explains that even though an infinite number of sense objects enter a perfect man through his senses, none will create any difference within him, like water from rivers during rainy season enter the ocean. The level of water in the ocean does not change an iota. An ordinary person who has not given up his desires, such a person is called desirer of desires. He who considers fulfillment of desires bring happiness will never have peace. A man who has complete detachment control over his mind, and not disturbed by sense objects of the world alone attain peace and joy. Swami Chinmayananda in his commentaries indicates that the desirer of desires can never have any time peace or happiness. They always entertain more number of desires than the number of desires fulfilled by them. Hence, always running after unfulfilled desires. Then, where is the peace or happiness for them? Swami Nikhilananda presents in his commentary that a man of perfection or a man of complete wisdom knows about the harmful effects of desires. He further adds that more desires create more excitement, which brings in agitations, grief, unhappiness when not fulfilled.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः